hour. Bryan and Bill here, Breakfast with Bryan Bill at NSS. Sam Wyche joins us on the line from Pickens down in Carolina. How are you this morning, Sam?
I'm doing great. We got perfect weather down here today, and looking at the Blue Ridge Mountains right now. Wishing you were here.
Oh, I love the Blue Ridge Mountains.
The first part of what you said was true. The second part you said I know it wasn't, but I'll
it's an absolute lie. That's correct. Yeah.
Now, listen. We wanted to talk to you about several things today. First, I want you to get into detail about the draft because I know you're following it closely.
Oh,
just kidding.
Yeah, I am.
Just kidding.
Let's see, it's a draft this week, next week, next month. When is it? That's how close I'm following. Actually, I know that it's but I do not know the players. I don't follow the game anymore like that.
No, I know. I was just being an idiot. But I did want to talk to you about Howard Cosell and Pat Summerall, as we mentioned last night. Yesterday, we lost Howard Cosell on April the 23rd back in 1995. And, you knew him better than Bill and I did. Obviously, we followed him closely. And, he was the top dog when it came to sports broadcasting and often ventured into areas that weren't just about sports, about life and about politics as well. What can you tell us, just first of all to start off with, Cole's notes on your thoughts of Howard Cosell and memories?
Well, the first memory, a personal memory, was as a player. I don't remember what city, but we were on the road, and I went down to the lobby. We were going into a meeting, and Howard Cosell was standing in the lobby, and he had that traditional cigar stuck out of the front of his mouth there. And it didn't have it all the way in the corner. It was always kind of coming out the front a little bit. And he said, "Hello, Sam. How you doing?" And I said fine. And I walked on in. And I was a young football player. I was about a 4 or 5 year veteran in the league, but I was a backup player. I wasn't a star, and he knew me. And I remember being so impressed with that. Howard Cosell didn't start out as a football player that moved right into like Pat Summerall did. He was actually a lawyer in Brooklyn and had a lot of actors and athletes as his clients, and Willie Mays was one of his clients, I understand. But he was a guy that just followed sports, worked his way up, starting in radio, and he paid all the dues coming into the broadcast booth, but he had a background of law and had a background, like you say, of things other than sports, and he brought it to the air in kind of a brash, arrogant way, and he called himself kind of obnoxious and cruel and pompous at times. So he was an honest guy. He told it like it was, if you remember, and earned his way there. I have nothing but good things to say about Howard Cosell.
Well, everybody thinks of Howard Cosell in one of two ways, I think. One would be Monday Night Football, because he was such a big part of that, and certainly its initial success. And the other thing was the how close he was with Muhammad Ali, which at the time, as you I'm sure you remember, Sam, it was not politically correct. It was, Muhammad Ali wouldn't fight the Viet Cong, and it was just a tough thing, and yet, he steadfastly refused to go away, which was, a measure of the man.
Well, it is, and it just shows how versatile he is or was in his professional experience and his personal experience. He actually was a good friend of Muhammad Ali, and prior to that, Cassius Clay, but he didn't just represent him, and he didn't just broadcast the boxing match. He would actually fraternize with him and make no bones about it that he liked him, and you could see it on the air in those interviews following the ball games when Muhammad Ali was standing there after knocking somebody out, sweat pouring off of him, and people bouncing around, and Cassius Clay's locked right on to what Howard Cosell was asking him. So he earned his reputation and had clout. He was good.
He came in at a time when broadcasting was just all about adulation for the team, and obviously he offered that counterpoint, which became accepted and is copied by many people now. To be honest with you, and you're not up here, Sam, but the only guy I can think of in television right now who has the same clout, say what he feels, and say it with complete conviction and confidence is Don Cherry up here. He's a different sort of a guy altogether, but is in the same sort of a mold. Do you think it's easier for guys nowadays to be the type of broadcaster that Cosell was, or do you think it's more difficult?
Well, if you have early success with it, it's not that difficult. But the way a broadcast happens is you've got a producer, you got an earpiece, and you're listening to a producer and a director. Usually the producer is trying to get, tell you when you're going to have a break or what kind of storyline he wants to get to at that portion of a ball game. And Howard Cosell, I suspect, was one of those guys that just ignored those comments and went on with what he wanted to do. And as long as you're successful, as long as you're holding the audience, and when you talk about Monday Night Football, I think Howard Cosell made Monday Night Football happen.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally different. People would tune in to be a part of that event. It wasn't just a football game. It didn't matter who was playing. They actually tuned in to listen to the commentators and to the announcers.